Hello, this is my Week 7 post-ALIF update. Most of the people I've seen on YouTube at this point are doing updates every month or maybe every few weeks, and I actually think this is probably one of the more important parts of the recovery process to do an update every week with, because we're at the rising end of that sigmoid curve I learned of last week, where first 6 weeks your body is like, what the hell, building blood vessels and invading the whole area, getting all the trash out, and dealing with inflammation. The next 6 weeks is where that little S goes up and all of the bone is getting laid down. And then the 6 weeks after that is when it kind of flatlines again. Sigmoid, new word. I learned it. So, that said, we're at the week 7 now, which means because we're at the rising part of that curve, I have meaningfully more bone than I did last week. And next week it'll be substantially. I'm iterating my words there. I'm going to get to why I'm so all over the place in a minute, but next week will be a big market difference between week 6, and then week 10 will be a market difference between week 8, and from there it'll probably start to slow down. But so load sharing, I mean, it's tough to say, but if I was at 15% last week, I might be 25% this week. By week 12, I'll probably be close to 50% bone hardware. So that is cool. So things I want to talk about. First things first, sciatica progression. More excellent news. It is way downsies, way the heck down. Twinkles here and there when I'm driving, twinkles here and there in my hamstrings when I'm walking. It's going away, and I could not be more happy. It is a pale imitation of what it was on week 3, and it's going just like my doctor said. If I am very exhausted, it will creep up a bit, but not to the point where it was several weeks back. So I am very relieved about that. When I feel it, I acknowledge it, I let it go, and it does feel like my downregulating that experience, yes, Luca, is helping, as well as the nerves are just healing, regardless of what I did or did not do, and the nerves would eventually heal. Shut up. So there is that. There's another wonderful thing that I want to talk about is sorry, Luca's distracting me. My anxiety levels ever since the surgery have been lower, and I figured, it's probably because I was off of work, but no, I've returned to work and my anxiety levels have remained low. So my hypothesis right now is that all of that chronic spinal muscle contraction throughout my whole life has increased my baseline anxiety. And now that those muscles have finally let go, I am just calmer. Things that would get to me before don't. I've been dealing with a ton of stuff. Like today at work would have been a very stressful day for me before. But today and yesterday, both. But it just rolls off my back. It's like, whatever. I do what I do as well as I can do it. And there's that. So it's wonderful to feel. I hope it remains. Right now, I have no reason to think it will not. That said, returning to work has been his challenge. As you can see, I'm not my full self right now, and it's getting better. But the first 2 days back at work, about halfway through the workday, my mental energy just disappeared. It was like I walked into a miasma, and I could not think. I had to just had to slow down. I had to intentionally slow everything I did down, because everything just took so much more mental effort. And that's because my body is still recovering. I may physically feel fine, but there's a lot of bone building going on right now as I speak to you in this video. And that's a big drain on energy. So my body for the next couple weeks to couple months is going to be partitioning energy to that. And I'm not going to object to it. Not that I could. My body is autonomous. I am not its master. But no, it's the right thing to do. And naturally, if it's giving energy to healing, it's taking it away from mental processes. But it is a little better today than it was a couple days ago. Yesterday was phenomenal, but then I kind of crashed today. I have not started PT yet. PT is going to start March 10th because that was the first day they had available. So I'm a little annoyed about that, but what can you do? It'll be fully week 10 before I start PT, but next week in the update I can tell you a little bit about it. Bike experience was good. I'm going to postpone riding bike again for a couple weeks just because getting onto and off of my bike caused twinges that I didn't really care for. My bike is a little bit large for my frame, and all of this growth I've done is at above my legs, so that's not really affected. So maybe I need a leg fusion. I don't know. that said, a couple weeks from now, I might try again. Walking is going to give me the most bang for my buck anyway, as it creates the oscillations necessary to stimulate even further bone growth, which is what I want. So if I have to choose between walking and riding, or for the short term anyway, walking makes more sense, although I really think we're talking about margins here. In terms of margins, now that I'm thinking about it, supplements, I have weaned off of the ALA. I'm no longer taking that, so the D3 with collagen is done. The ALA is done. There's no more need for them. And on the subject of walking, I have regained my full walking speed. Last Saturday, I went on a walk, and it was on the Comet, and it was nice and calm, and I was averaging mid to high threes, and I decided to go all out, and I exceeded 4 miles an hour, and it felt fine. My gait definitely, it's starting to feel natural now, but like I've noticed I'm bouncier. I definitely take larger steps than before. I think I took shorter, more gliding steps kind of before the surgery. That's kind of how my doctor friend described it. Like, I definitely walk with a larger step, a larger gait, but it's healthy. It's good. Everything's good. As for brace weaning, that took hours, not days. So the day after I was weaned from it, so I was weaned from it the day you guys saw the video. The following day I went to work and I wore it for a couple hours because once that train hit my brain, I was just like, holy shoot, I'm not ready for this. So I put the brace on just to be careful. Since then, I've not worn it at all. My paraspinal muscles in my lower back ever since then have been very, very talkative. Just about everything I do makes them twinge, but my understanding is that's pretty much normal. For the first time in my adult life, they're working normally, so they don't yet have that great of endurance. So, like, they've been waking me up while I sleep. It's not, like, heavy pain, and it doesn't stick around. It's just twinge gone. So, nothing to worry about. Normal stuff that will get better with time. I have been returning to more normal movements. I will squat down to pick up things off the floor. I will bend a little bit. Like, I was in my work seat and something under the seat was on the ground, and I did bend to get it, and I felt a dull pain in my back, but it was like muscle pain, and it went away as soon as I stopped the movement, and I think it's just muscles that haven't been used in a long time, and it was like something super light, like a piece of paper. I forget exactly what it was, but I'm still avoiding lifting very heavy. I'm not running. I almost ran today at work. I stopped myself right before that first step. I'm like, oh, wait, slow down, Kent, slow down. You ain't ready yet. So yeah, I'm getting there. PT is going to help me along with that stuff. I even did a test hip hinge, got my lightest band, put it around my waist, and let it pull me back as far as was comfortable. I did it 2 different days. On the first day, it felt like my lower back was the limiting factor, and on the second day, regrettably, my hamstrings were. I do not have too much range of motion, but with PT and over the span of weeks and months, it's actually a good sign. It means my back's getting more used to movement. It means my hamstrings have room to improve where maybe they didn't before. There's no reason to have believed, I suppose, that movement would have just been restored to me out of the blue. Now, I actually have some more medical imagery, so I'd like to show some of that to y'all. It's everything I got. It's more x-rays. It's all x-rays, but I'm going to start here with a cool comparison. Boop. So, here on the left, you can see my old x-ray with the wishbone break that it's clearer here, but next to my new x-ray that was taken last week. What I didn't really notice before as much, I was focused on the front here, but if you look at the back, you could see this disc is way forward, and you could see the disc space is not that great. Although I look at a few of these other ones, and the disc space seems kind of not that great too, but they're obscured by things like this lung. That said, move to the right, way more space, and the rear is aligned perfectly. So yeah, major change from this here being pushed forward like this to now aligned perfectly. It definitely looks a little more dramatic when you look at it from behind, which is not what I was doing before. But yeah, you could see the screws and whatnot. I think, yeah, I didn't show you guys the lateral view last week. So there's the cage. You could see it's got that mesh inside it. So that's where the bone graft material was. So let's proceed on to the next one. So this was like right after surgery. I was still dead to the world right after they did everything. So just a not very high contrast picture of what they did. Let's keep going because that one's not all that interesting. I wonder what this was. What's this line here? I should have asked. Oh well, too late. So this is from the front actually, right after they put in the cage and before they went in the back. You could tell because you don't see my staples yet. So I was dead to the world. You can see, what I like about this one is that you could see the 3 screws that they were able to put in due to the quality of my interior and bone. So very good fixation there. Bodes well. There's my hips and there's some guts, and I was non-existent in this span when this was taken. You already saw this one, but it's a little more zoomed out now. I do see this little rightward tilt of my spine. Well, it's actually left. And I think it's too little. Oh, well, my webcam's in the way, so you can't really. Hang on. I will turn off my cam so you can see it. It looks like a little bit of scoliosis, but I think it's just individual variants and just how they scanned it. Nothing to really care about. They would have said something if it were a problem, which it isn't. And then again, right after the surgery, just another view of what's going on there. Let me just pull it down here so you can see it a little better. They went in there and put that cage in. Cool stuff. And then finally, this view, which is just like the other one. You can see the 3 screws. This is from the behind. You see this, or no, it is from the front. Here are the this was after they put in the staples. Wow, still can't think it's from behind. Why did I? Oh no, it has to be from behind because there's the. Right, there are the screws. Again, my brain is mush right now, and it probably will be for a while. The pedicle screws as well as the rods and the screws going up through here. I guess just the perspective is kind of weird. But here are the staples that no longer live in me. And yeah, so that's really all I've got. Wanted to share all that with you because why not? So next week I'll have an update with PT. I'm going to continue talking about my sciatica progression. Hopefully it'll continue to be excellent news about how physical activities are increasing, how this brain fog will hopefully decrease, all the good stuff. For anyone who's coming for that kind of granularity, I hope it helps you out. Just stay optimistic, stay active, keep walking. Rein yourself in when you want to go faster. It's very tempting, and when you're cleared, just very slowly get into safer movement patterns. Today I put out my recycling bin, big 96-gallon bin, but it was full of light stuff. Tried the same with my garbage can. I probably could have done it, but I was like, this is pretty heavy, so I am going to get a friend to do it. But yeah, just make those calls. You don't have to carry the world on your shoulders. Come back slowly. Bone takes forever to build, but this part of the curve, weeks 6 through 12, is when it's building the fastest. So make sure you're getting your protein, getting your calcium, getting your sleep. I've been getting my sleep, so anyone wants to comment like, maybe you're not sleeping enough. No, I am. But anyway, thanks for being here. Appreciate you being here the whole journey. Everything's going great. And yeah, I'll see y'all next week. Bye.